Hello all you great crusaders, Warhammer Wiki here. Today we're going to be discussing an amazing theory that I've always loved, that Sanguinius eliminated Horus in their battle and that the Emperor of Mankind then had to take out Sanguinius. Now you're going to hear me say eliminate and take out a lot in this video, and the reason for that is YouTube is really good at blacklisting videos for saying certain words like K-I-L-L-E-D or K-I-L-L, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to avoid it. So I'm sorry if it bugs you that I keep saying eliminated or taken out or was removed from existence or ceased to live, ongoing, that kind of stuff. So just be aware of that. And just so we're clear, and I know that you guys are already aware of this, the original story, Sanguinius faced off against Horus, and then Horus took out Sanguinius, and then the Emperor had to come in and clean everything up and take out the demon-fueled Horus. So just be aware, that's originally what we're told, often in the actual storyline, so this one's going to be a little bit reversed. Now, luckily, after doing way too much research on this topic, there are a couple key points of evidence that really, I guess, point to the contrary of the original theory. And just so you guys know who I am, right before I start filling your brain with all kinds of weird theories, I'm a huge Warhammer 40k and 30k fan. I've been a fan since I was a small child, as my two older brothers played Warhammer. I ended up building a small Eldar army and really started digging deeper into the codexes that were provided to me, in which I was absolutely enthralled. Started reading a lot of the Warhammer 40k novels and 30k novels, almost done with the Siege of Terra. At this point, I think I'm close to have read about 80 Warhammer related novels. Again, that's basically scratching the surface, but enough to where I kind of know the basic storyline, and then occasionally I enjoy tearing the lore apart, such as this video. So let's jump straight into this. Let's start out with just the facts. We know that Sanguinius and Horus did end up fighting on the Vengeful Spirit, or Horus's flagship. We know that Sanguinius did end up being eliminated on the Vengeful Spirit, as shown by his sons, who were hit with the psychic blast of his death, causing the Red Thirst and the Black Rage. We also know that on the Vengeful Spirit, the Emperor was mortally wounded and had to retire to the Golden Throne, where now he just sits there. He's kind of a husk of a man at this point. Horus was also taken out on the Vengeful Spirit, but did not just go out normally. You know, his full soul was torn apart, and there was zero chance of him having a future existence. We know that it was not just a normal death. From the novels Fabius Bile, when he was cloning the Primarchs, he had cloned his own gene sire, who is Fulgrim, who is the Primarch over the Emperor's children, and this clone embodied everything that the original Fulgrim was like before becoming a demon prince. This is because Fulgrim's soul is still at large in the galaxy, allowing him to take a piece of that soul and put it into that clone. Now, Fabius Bile also cloned Horus. This clone did not last long, as Abaddon the Despoiler went and took him out himself and did it seamlessly easy. Reading a lot of the novels is shown that taking out a Primarch is not as easy as just poking them with a pair of power claws. Not only that, Abaddon was able to see through the clone and realize that the current Horus that was standing in front of him was not actually his father, and he said so. So Horus's soul is kaput. You can't clone him, you can't revive him. Something seriously bad happened to him when he was taken out. His soul was completely obliterated. Another fact that we know is that there was about no witnesses at the final battle. Olinus Pius, a literal Catholic perpetual who is older, and some people think that he's older than the Emperor himself. And I mean, this guy is absolutely amazing. I need to make my own video about him. Some sources say that he was born in 8000 BC, fought in the Trojan War, Napoleonic War, World War I, even the Gulf War. Supposedly, he tried stepping in between Horus and the Emperor and was vaporized. So he's considered a legendary figure to the Guardsmen, but I did hear through the grapevine that they're looking at retconning Olinus as a whole, so he might not have been there at all. So again, almost no one there to witness what had ended up happening. So sticking to the facts, Sanguinius died, Horus died, and his soul was obliterated. The Emperor was mortally wounded, and all of Sanguinius' children now have the Black Rage, and occasionally makes them think that everyone around them is Horus. Now, there are two major theories on how and why Sanguinius was eliminated. The first theory is complete garbage. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think that it's really stupid. I almost didn't even want to tell you about it, but I'm here to give out information, and it's something that was brought up to my attention, so let's go. So Sanguinius in this theory ended up taking out Horus himself and then waiting for the Emperor to come in. Once the Emperor got in, he realized that he was alone with Sanguinius. He decided to exact revenge because of Imperium Secundus, which was Sanguinius and Guilliman's idea of starting a second Imperium without the Emperor. So the Emperor was super mad, and apparently he decided to kill Sanguinius because of it. Now here's a couple reasons why this is a dumb theory. The Emperor had every single opportunity to kill Sanguinius prior to this during the Siege of Terra. In fact, Sanguinius almost seemed like he had a death wish with some of the battles that he did, so I didn't really see that the Emperor was trying to, force his death. Sanguinius was not secretive about Imperium Secundus with the Emperor. In fact, he was pretty open with him. Sanguinius is also basically the Emperor's favorite Primarch. One of the things that I have recently read was, why did Sanguinius not get the position of War Master and Horus was appointed War Master? A lot of people say it's because Horus was the Emperor's favorite Primarch and that he was the Primarch that he trusted the most. One of the things that I did recently read about was that the Emperor actually loved Sanguinius more than Horus, and that is why he gave Horus the job as War Master, knowing that whoever became War Master had a larger probability of being attacked by the ruinous powers, so the other Chaos Gods. So he put Horus in place and was pretty okay with Horus turning, but really not okay with Sanguinius turning. Everything about that full theory is dumb. Now on to the second theory that's a little bit more viable. This is where the weakened Horus, as we know he was recovering from a stab wound from Leman Russ, fought Sanguinius and lost. We saw Sanguinius do some crazy stuff during the War on Terra, and I would not be surprised if he was able to take out a partially wounded, kind of juiced up Horus. Now, one of the big holdups that I had when I was reviewing this theory was that if Sanguinius did end up taking out Horus, then how the heck did Horus's soul get evaporated? This would have been as simple as Horus having a change of heart right before he died, and the Chaos Gods were so upset with him, and they were basically inside of his body, that they decided to punish him by destroying his soul, which is totally something that I know the Emperor has a capability of erasing a soul from this universe. I'm pretty sure that the 4 Chaos Gods have that equivalent power, especially when they're all present and they all hate somebody. So that is how I get past that part. During the fight against Horus, Sanguinius would have been put under a tremendous amount of stress. He was best friends with Horus while growing up and had fought countless wars alongside Horus. In fact, Horus made a large effort to convert Sanguinius to his side multiple times. Horus himself invited Sanguinius onto his flagship beforehand in his last attempt to convert him. So there was a few times that he attempted to convert him, and then Sanguinius told him to go screw himself. So we've seen Sanguinius himself struggle with the Black Rage before in the past, so we knew that was something that could end up happening during the battle against Horus. To make sure that Sanguinius was strong enough to have that final push and defeat Horus, he fell into the Black Rage, and then the Emperor entered into the room. The Emperor, seeing that Sanguinius had taken out Horus, he was super excited at first. He was like, oh my gosh, my son took out my other son that was absolutely evil, and he's my favorite son, so I'm excited to see that he's still alive. And then his happiness turned into horror when he realized that his son had fallen into the Black Rage, which I'm sure is something that the Emperor knew about, as he was the one that created him. Now, the Emperor then tried to get him to change back to normal Sanguinius to remove him from the Black Rage, but that struggle had completely changed him. As he was attempting to get him to basically convert, the Emperor ended up suffering major wounds, and at the last moment the Emperor had no choice but to basically take out Sanguinius. So what are some key points that make this theory viable? One of the first key points is the Black Rage itself. When all of Sanguinius's sons, or a lot of them, fell into the Black Rage, after his death they started seeing everyone as Horus. They went completely bonkers. They absolutely decimated everyone that was left on Terra fighting. The Black Legion and by the Black Legion I just mean basically all of the Chaos army that was left on Terra, got completely stomped. In fact, they started running away when they realized that all of the Blood Angels were stomping on the bodies of those that they had just slain. And so, definitely some crazy stuff. All of these suns are falling into the Black Rage, and while they're in the Black Rage, they start seeing everyone as Horus. Now, this can be a little bit strange because they're totally fine with the fact that there's like 3 or 4 or 5 Horuses standing around. I believe that when Sanguinius went into the Black Rage, he saw the Emperor himself as Horus also, meaning it's totally normal for his children to see multiple Horuses and not say what the heck is going on, because Sanguinius himself, when falling into the Black Rage, ended up seeing the Emperor as Horus too, so he himself, so their Primarch, saw 2 Horuses. When that psychic shockwave happened, when Sanguinius was taken out by the Emperor, all of their sons were completely fine with seeing multiple Horuses. The next key point is the battle between Horus and the Emperor itself. There are certain parts of this fight that do not make any sense. In the original lore, which this may change with the new books that are about to come out, but in the original lore, the Emperor fought against Horus and did not take out Horus out of the love for Horus. This makes zero sense, as throughout every single book that I've read, the Emperor shows zero love and tolerance for Horus once he's changed. In fact, he did not even attempt to sway him back to the fold, like not once. There are multiple times when Horus was talking with the Emperor physically, or psychically, not physically. So he's psychically talking with Horus and the Emperor during the actual fight on Terra. The Emperor basically just gave him the cold shoulder. Like, Horus was talking a lot of smack. He's like, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Ha 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 ha. You're gonna be taken out. And the Emperor just was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, fight me, basically. So again, zero fight for trying to get Horus back. If he truly loved Horus, he would have totally treated him differently, especially if he loved him up until this point. If the Emperor had an extreme power to vaporize Horus's soul whenever he wanted to, he would have probably done it like right off the bat. He probably wouldn't have waited for himself to be almost on the brink of death, especially if he just killed Sanguinius, hint hint, who's the Emperor's favorite Primarch / son. So that whole part never really sat well for me, and it's one of the reasons I absolutely love this theory. The third key point is that there are very few witnesses. The reason this is so important is the only person that could have truly have told the story of what happened was the Emperor himself. Maybe Malgador, who was literally lighting on fire at the Golden Throne at the time. I'm sure that he was trying to figure out what was going on. It would completely destroy the Imperium and probably turn all of the Blood Angels to chaos if the Emperor came out and said that Sanguinius had actually turned and that he had to end up taking him out himself. The Blood Angels play a very important part through the rest of the Imperium's history. I mean, without the Blood Angels, some bad things would have happened to the Imperium, especially regarding the Tyranids and the Necrons. They play a pivotal part in protecting the Imperium from those two, and basically everybody else. So with that being said, just to make sure that nothing bad ended up happening to the Imperium, the Emperor decided to basically take a step back and say, hey, Horus ended up taking out Sanguinius. I had to come in and finish off Horus myself. And that's the story. So you could be proud of Sanguinius. You could be proud of everything that he accomplished and that he had fought Horus and that he did such a good job. And then the very last key point is that I really just like this theory. I think it gives a new aspect to the rest of the lore. It definitely falls in line with some of the characteristics that we've seen in recent Warhammer 40k books. So just absolutely love this theory. And that's it. Thank you so much for sitting and listening to the second Warhammer 40k theory video that I have on this channel. We are going to still continue all of the Primarch series, so just be on the outlook for me wrapping up Lionel Johnson. Finally, almost done with that Primarch and then moving on to the next one. If you did enjoy this theory video, please remember to comment down below and like the video, as it's going to not only show me that you want more videos like this where I just kind of ramble on about some things that I really like about the Warhammer 40k universe, but it also helps me with the algorithm. We are shooting for 1,000 subscribers right now. We are actually halfway through that goal, so all of those that have already subscribed, thank you so much for that. If you can, again, hit that like button, comment, share this video, subscribe, and then hit that notification bell. And I know for a fact that you guys will be blessed by the Omnisci if you do so. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye.